we'd had sold out, oversold, because I was counting the stock by hand, and we'd made like 60,000 in the first hour of the day, and I had no idea what to do.
Welcome back to another episode of D2C Diaries. Today we're joined by Ellie, who is the founder of By Ellie. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, we're really excited to have you. I think, we were talking before we came on. We obviously had hair syrup on, Glow for it. And, this is now
the trifecta.
The TikTok trifecta, like the three.
Women are taking over.
Exactly, yeah. They are. And it's amazing to have you.
Thank you.
So could we just start with going back to the start to give everyone a bit of context as to the brand and yourself up until this point? So let's go into a bit of that origin story.
Yeah, so I started the brand coming out of COVID. I was 21 and I had £2,000 left from being in lockdown, furlough, and I had really bad acne. So I went on Accutane. That broke down my lip barrier. It's a acne treatment. And there was nothing on the market at the time that was soothing. Like, my lips were falling off and I just lost all my confidence with my skin, the mirror. Like, I just hated how I looked. You know, lockdown was ending and people were going out and I just couldn't go out. I hated how I looked. And then my skin cleared up, but my lips were just horrendous, like just so bad. And at the time, my friend was like, use this nipple balm that she was using. She just had a baby. And I was like, I'm not using that. I'm not going into Boots and buying that. She was like, no, you've got to use it because it's really good. And it worked. And there was nothing with these ingredients, had a lot of natural ingredients in it on the market. Everything was very oil based, which just dries your lips out more. So I was like, I need to make this lip balm. I can sell it to my friends. I can make the money back and maybe a bit more and I'll just go out to work. Like, that was literally all I had planned. And very naively, I just went onto Google, reached out to loads of suppliers and was like, I'm going to make this lip balm, invested the whole 2,000 because I wanted my own formula and our own mold, which in beauty, the MOQs are just, 20,000 units. I didn't have enough money to fill all the tubes. They held most of the tubes. We had 10 of them delivered and they were all wrong. The labels were wrong because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what was, legal to sell and stuff. So I had to hand stick all of them. That was point number one, where everyone was like, I think this is a bad idea. You should go out to work. And I was like, no, this is going to work. Like, I'm going to make double the money back and I'm going to be up a little bit. And it didn't go to plan. Like, we sold a few. I, used all social channels as a digital diary. How I was taking photo shoots in my garden, waiting for natural sunlight, which is never in the UK, and doing everything on my phone. And I'd go to IKEA and buy like tiles and create sets and stuff to take pictures. And I recorded all of that and people were sort of following on with that journey. And I got reviews of people being like, I've used this for dry skin, I've used this for eczema, like I feel so confident. And I was like, there's a real gap for solution-based beauty products, your key products. Like, you have Colgate and Tangle Teezer in your house, they're in all women's houses. And I wanted them key products that you use every day, not just for a night out, not just to get glam. It's them hero products. And it's that relationship that women feel within the mirror. And that's when we developed more products and just kept using social media as a digital diary. And now it's like them key products. And that's where we're going with like MPD and everything. But just documenting everything and sharing it. And we've just grown over the last couple of years.
Could we just go back and touch on that MPD process initially? Because I think one thing we probably don't talk enough about on this podcast is actually, that initial process that I guess, a lot of founders will go through that where they're suffering from a pain point. They want to create the solution to that. For early founders, what advice do you have as part of that initial process?
I think do your research with your community. So if you can ask people what they want, what they don't want, get feedback on things like packaging, tubes. We did this tube that didn't, basically, some lip balms have like a lip applicator. This didn't, and people preferred that. And all these things that I could have ruled out if I would have just done a bit more like surveys and speaking to people and research, but I just wanted to get the product out there and sort of get the money back. But if you're doing a new product, I would just stay clean with the products you're using, the chemicals, and get someone to sign it off and make sure it's uploaded on the CPMP and you're regulated in the UK, the EU and the US because they're all different.
All the boring stuff that people probably don't think is
and then when you
important
get
at the
that
start.
email and it's like, this is all, you're illegal, you're like, oh,
that's why it's never been done before.
So yeah, just check where you want to sell, because I wanted to sell everywhere straight away. I just thought,
go big.
Why not? So, you need to make sure, because the EU are quite strict. There's new regulations all the time. We had our compliance officer, I spoke to her in the week, and she said, oh, we need to now do this different type of label, a leaflet in every single order. And I was like, that's a new thing that I wouldn't, you've got to keep on top of these things and make sure you're compliant, because otherwise it's just not the right thing to do. And also it can just end your business really quickly.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But things you just don't know, like, how would I have known that?
Yeah.
Google was my best friend.
Ignorance is bliss sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
I've seen loads of people
naive.
shifting so much volume in some products, and you're like, that just can't be.
Yeah.
Can't be allowed.
And you're just running, right?
Yeah,
It's just like a continuous, like, we've sold over like hundreds of thousands of units of products, and like, you just don't think about that. You're just like, keep moving, keep doing the next thing.
So many things to think about, I guess.
So many things.
You mentioned a couple of times just when you were doing your intro, then the idea of like digital diary and that approach to content. And I know from before when we started about the volume you do and how you cover so many channels, which I want to get into. But I guess talking about that kind of launch process, what was the moment when it really started to take off? Like when did you really start to see traction through that approach? Can you pinpoint it to like a specific post or a specific?
Not really. I posted on TikTok every day for like a year. I was in like the 600 views prison and never getting out of that. Then started getting to like 1,000, and then I started to think, okay, get into like hook content and like getting people's attention, right? You've got seconds to get people to buy into what you're doing and also to watch. So I made all our videos super satisfying, under 20 seconds, quick call to action, and they were all straight to the point. And I did that and changed everything, super close up, really efficient. You can see results within seconds. And then that started getting people interested, because they're, on TikTok, people just like this all day.
Yeah.
And I want to stop people on their tracks. And that's when I started doing really close up videos of product on my face. And then they started to take off, and we'd get like 100,000 views. And I had Jess actually on the floor in her room balancing my phone on like a glass of water because I didn't have a tripod. And I did her brow, and it's on, I think, 30 million views now.
And that was the big one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was just doing reps, trial and error, just reviewing the feedback and just like learning.
To get more reviews, and I was like, okay, that works. Let's keep doing that.
I think that's
still like them videos get about 30 million on Instagram, 20 million.
So important to like to say that, because
it was never overnight.
Yeah, people just think that they'll put 20, 30 videos out, and if it doesn't work, they'll give up. Yeah. Whereas like it takes time and just reps to get to that point.
And even like celebrity placement or, influence or talent posting the product, it always does better when it's like me close up to the camera, or it's someone showing the call to action really quickly, because people want to see the results and then they buy it, because otherwise they're like, don't waste my time sort of thing. And the story, like getting people involved. We rung a customer last week, I think that's nearly on 1 million views, and we had so many people comment, and that was just like an authentic moment. Luckily someone videoed it in the office, and just letting people see stuff they don't normally see. I think people really enjoy it.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, it is, it's not as simple as this, but if you are to simplify it, it's that idea of like document, don't create. Like if you just document the journey and everything behind the scenes, you're generating so much content through that. Yeah,
storytelling I think is key. And if you've got a why of what you've done, and I think it makes such a difference when you're running a brand, if you're fixing a problem you had, because you can really understand what the customer's going through. So when I read reviews, like I really get how they're feeling when they're talking about how it's made them feel confident, how they've used it at work, the athletes and the products have lasted through intense workouts. We've had marathon runners, like that means so much to me, because I know that the products made them feel confident, and I know how that feels.
I guess
so I can relate.
Speaking in their language as well, right? And I think we've spoken about this on quite a few episodes, like brands tend towards speaking like brands and almost get a bit stiff over time. Yeah. Especially like, legacy brands.
People buy from people now more than ever. So you've really got to be in touch, I think, with, you know, your customers and let them see everything, even the stuff that goes wrong.
Is there like a planning process in place? I guess initially it was probably more just like, let's just post, but is there a process there? I'm sure there is, in terms of like planning what content we're going to be creating or reporting on what works.
The spot.
Right, that's interesting. That's such a like commonality, I think,
Yeah.
with, you know, we were speaking before as well.
I would like to plan some
Probably
content,
good and bad in sometimes,
but then
right?
it's like, it's just, as a lot of our videos as well are replied to people's reviews or comments. So it's like in real time. I mean, eventually it would help a lot, but not right now, no. It's just currently like really reactive, which I think is good.
Yeah, I think that like sometimes the more raw the better, right?
Yeah,
and I think that's definitely seeing, you know, a lot of the content that does really well is those comment reply videos, and it's just that really strong 360 loop between yourself and the customer.
For sure, yeah, definitely. And it's just like understanding that you know, you're selling a product, so you've only got people's attention, but if you can answer a question about a problem they're having, you're then going to actually solve yourself probably like 10 customer service emails as well. So it's like you can use that to send to customers if they're asking a question.
Yeah, makes sense. So what was that first maybe bottleneck or problem that you ran into? Things were going really well, scaling. There must have been a moment, as every business has.
Happens every day. What we're talking about. Like loads. We've had loads of different problems, like things that I said when we launched in Sephora. You know, they said, "Oh, can you send over all your barcodes?" And I was like, "Barcodes? What barcodes? There's no barcodes on the product." So things like that, I wouldn't know that everything needed barcoding because we had our own warehouse. Now we're in 3PL, we have everything barcoded. That was a huge problem. When we've ordered stock and it's come packaged wrong, we literally yesterday have our mini essentials launching on Thursday, and none of them are barcoded, and they can't be scanned in. So now they have to be hand barcoded. And, you know, these things happen all the time. Like in the office, it'll be, "Oh, nothing, these aren't barcoded." And it's like, what do you mean they're not barcoded? So it's just, things happen, people make mistakes. But yeah, I'd say I'm learning all the time, like massive problems all the time.
Yeah.
I'm learning because there's no instruction manual and I've not done it before.
Yeah.
What did that initial sort of, you said you got the 30 million view video, that must have been a massive inflection point surely in terms of growth rate.
Yeah, it helped a lot with, it didn't actually do massive on sales, but it helped a lot with like our account. We got loads
Awareness
of followers,
and
then all our videos started to do quite well. And I remember just sitting there watching it go up and thinking, "Oh, like this would be so good if it gets to 100k." And then it kept going. It's like our best performing videos have like cycles.
Yeah.
So they become viral again further down the line.
Which is such a unique thing to TikTok, I feel. Like that's just just hasn't,
for sure.
It's such a strange thing. Like, I don't know why.
Yeah, it's like it's going viral again.
Just like, what a nice surprise on a random day.
Yeah, exactly. It's harder now to get a viral video.
Yeah.
But we had a lady actually, she posted like a creator, but really like, I've never heard of her before, but she has a really trusted audience in the US. And I woke up, and this is when I was packing everything at home in my mum's garage, and it was just me and one other girl, and we'd had sold out, oversold, because I was counting the stock by hand, and we'd made like 60,000 in the first hour of the day, and I had no idea what to do, and I didn't know where we were going to get the stock from. We were running around packing everything like crazy. We oversold so much, got everyone on a wait list, had to refund so many customers, and that was like probably the most like crazy couple of hours of like one day. And she just posted a review of her trying it. She was like, "This brand in the UK, like, love this product, like, let me try it." Like, she did a demo, like showing the before and after, and it just went completely crazy.
Wow, that's insane. And that, would you say that was all completely organic?
She just bought it. I'd never seen her before.
It's
I just
always
couldn't
the
work
best
out what was
way,
going
isn't it?
on. I was like, "What's happening? The website's broken. Like, my phone's gonna blow up. I think we haven't even got this stock. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, have we made it? Like, what happens now?" And we were just packing from home, so I was just like in my pajamas packing with everyone that I could possibly get to pack with me.
Yeah,
and that
makes
was
sense.
crazy.
So organic kind of was the way that the brand
First
started.
2 years, no ads.
Wow, that's insane. So what was that kind of turning point where you thought, okay, we need to start looking at paid acquisition?
It was actually TikTok. They have obviously like TikTok managers and stuff. We get allocated a manager, and one of them said, "Oh, do you want to start ads?" And I was like, I'm not sure about that because I don't really know enough about them. And I was scared to spend the money because we had never done it. So I was like, is this the right thing to do? So we started with TikTok ads, scaled them, and then went into Google and Meta about just probably a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Made sense. And does are you using TikTok almost as like a testing engine for creative that then you may apply to paid creative on Meta?
Yeah, but they perform differently. So, you know, TikTok's very reactive, very impulse, can be, you know, behind the scenes and that, you know, really high hook content. Whereas on Meta and Google really want to nurture the customer, educate them about the story, educate them about the products. It's a bit more premium. That's definitely the road we're going down.
I think I think from seeing brands that are going on that journey, it'd be interesting to know what your split between channels are, if you between like direct to consumer and TikTok. But I think that
actually 50-50.
50-50. I think a lot of brands that are very TikTok native struggle to bridge that gap.
Yeah, I was always scared that like, what if the app just disappears tomorrow?
Well, I think it's really it's a very, very smart move to diversify away, but then I think it's a lot harder than many brands think, which is why they struggle.
And we have that older customer as well that's, you know, not always on TikTok. So we wanted to serve them as well. And, you know, we've got a big US base and they can't buy on TikTok UK, so they always move over to the site. So we sort of had to match as well things like campaigns, discounts, and give them the same, you know, opportunities. But luckily TikTok obviously support a lot of that as well. Yeah,
makes sense. I think what you were saying about the polished content and that TikTok being very direct, like very problem solution, almost like more lower funnel and offer led.
Yeah.
With then Facebook and other channels being a lot more like narrative driven. Is that like how you would?
Yeah, for sure. And it's like definitely warming them up at the beginning of the funnel. You know, they don't know about the brand.
Education.
They need to buy into the brand, the story, what's going on, showing them, you know, more premium filmed content, and then delivering that high hook content at the end, I think works really well, because then they're seeing, okay, salon worthy products without the price tag, results driven, you know, our reviews are amazing and they speak for themselves. And I think that's really important for people to see. It's like that trust.
Yeah, makes sense. And one thing I'd think, you know, you've obviously done an incredible job at being the face of the brand, but I think that obviously comes with emotional pressure, I'm sure, just like really putting yourself out there. How have you handled that pressure as you've continued to grow as a brand?
In the beginning, you feel embarrassed, but I think you've got to think like, who cares? And also, if this video makes me some money, you're not going to laugh at me. And then now, I don't care. I film all the time, every day. Got a massive tripod in the middle of my house. It's, you know, it's constant. But it is pressure because my videos do perform really well. So it's just like constantly doing that. And like when you're flat out with a team, managing massive problems with the back end and product and designing product, because I do all the product and the brands. It's like, quick, we need to video like 4 videos today and get them out as well. And it's like a lot of pressure. And also like, I don't want it to be reliant on me. Like I want it to be reliant on the team as well. So it's not just my face and attached to me.
Have you been really intentional with that approach? It's interesting you mentioned that, because I think Daisy and Lucy from Hair Syrup and Glow for It both said the exact same, like being founder led, coming from a problem that they felt and set out to solve. Their audience resonates with them the most, and they're also said they're on a similar journey of trying to kind of diversify that. How are you approaching?
I think it's just because it's so authentic.
Yeah.
Because you're speaking from the problem, so you really can speak honestly. And it's like, it goes back to like working with creators and like sort of UGC. It's like the right video will work from someone that's authentically loving the product. It doesn't matter how much you pay someone to do a video. If they don't really love it, we can tell as consumers. You can tell straight away. And I think how I'm trying to, you know, differentiate that is just sort of map it out as well, having the team on board, working with other creators, working with other artists. You know, makeup artists, it's really important that they talk about the product. You know, they're the specialists within makeup as well. So it's really important to just have a wide range of people, I think. And to be honest, I am just testing and learning at the minute.
Do you see yourself transitioning yourself out of being the face of the brand one day?
Maybe, but I doubt it. I'm just obsessed. That's all I talk about. That's all I do. So I doubt it anytime soon.
Yeah. It's difficult, isn't it, when you're so ingrained
And I'll see
in the
something and I'm like,
brand.
oh, I know how this will work really well. Let me film it. Or
Yeah.
like, no, like this. And then it'll perform and I'm like, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. It's interesting because, Lucy was saying that, she's obviously got, I've forgotten her name, her social
Lucy.
media manager. Oh yeah, they're both Lucy, aren't they?
Yeah. I know. That's cool.
That she started integrating her more into the page as well.
Yeah.
And that's something you're seeing more now with brands where they will, it's that idea of like ECG, like employee generated content, and EGC, and getting people that are becoming the face of the brand or ingrained in that aren't necessarily the founder.
Yeah, it's definitely something we're looking to do and trying to do more. But yeah, it's just trial and error. I'm very creative and I feel like I can see it, how it's going to look in my head. So then I want to record it, but maybe I could record it as a demo and someone else take it on.
I also think that's like the natural, I think when you're looking at content and when you're in this position of being a business owner, the natural thing to think can sometimes probably be that like that maybe that's not high leverage and maybe you should be focused on like business problems. But it's like arguably that is probably one of the highest points of leverage in the company, right? Because you're capable of producing a piece of content that could just dramatically change the revenue trajectory. And so I think it's interesting to think of it through that lens, because I think,
and it's like I've done it for so long, and I speak to the customers every single day, and my whole life is the brand, so I can talk about it so freely through content because it's almost like it's the right person. I think obviously Lucy and Lucy are like a proper duo, and they're like cloned into each other, they work so well, but I think it's really rare for that. And also
you can't force or fake that, can
exactly
you?
And sort of someone's got to be as obsessed with the brand as you, but really confident and understand the sort of content you're delivering. But it's definitely something we're trying to do more of.
I'd love to touch on the scale, how you've scaled the team. Like what did that look like initially? What were some of those first few hires, and then how has that progressed?
Scaled down.
where are you at? I guess where are you at now in terms of?
We're actually smaller now than ever because we've got a lot of partners and we've got some senior team members in house. We've got one office in Sutton and one in London, but we're definitely growing the team now. But we had a bigger team because we had a warehouse, and it was a lot going on at one point, and now we've just tried to like dial in on what works and get the right people in the brand now because it's growing so quickly, and I'm stretched incredibly thin. Like I need to have more people to help.
Who are some of those kind of
got
key?
A head of operations, she's amazing, thank God. No more counting the stock by hand, and like making sure we have the stock, especially we're in store, we can't undersell, and we can't not have products in stock. We have our brow products sell every 10 minutes, so you can't not have them in stock. And we've got a marketing executive. I do brand and product, and I do content. And then we've got some great partners with us for like ads, email, and sort of things like that. But I do like having a team in house.
Yeah, for sure. No, we're also
it's so hard though because so many people don't want to work in an office anymore. So many people do, and then it's like, what is the right thing to do? And offices are very expensive as well.
We've gone through this journey where it was full-time in-house to 3 days and now 2 days, which I think for us is the sweet spot, because I do think it's important to have a mix. I know people work better from home sometimes, and it's about finding that middle ground where they can really focus on and work from home, but then also have that real collaboration and synergy in the office, which builds that, the culture, which is so important. Like
that video that we've filmed in the office, if we weren't all in that day, that wouldn't have happened. And it was all of us, and we were all laughing and filming it and talking about it for ages after. And then, we have lunches together and talk. And I think that's really important because you can lean on each other when things go wrong, and we're in it together. We're all on the same mission, and that's really important. We've got like core values within our team, and I'm really lucky that I love working with who I work with, so that's really important.
Can we touch on that piece around core values and mission? Because I think that's something a lot of brands don't think enough about. Like, we're very bullish on that internally.
Yeah.
It's obviously ensures that everyone is rowing in the same direction. How have you ingrained that in the team and really ensured that everyone is aligned with that mission?
Yeah, so obviously keeping everything solution based, but our key values are TED, so transparency, empowerment, and determination. It's really easy to remember when you say TED that way, and we talk about it all the time. I'll say, what does TED stand for? We all like joke about it. And it's, if I'm not there, or there's any time where you're making a decision, like posting a video, making an order, signing something off, and you've got to make a decision, does it align with them values? Does everything we're doing align with them? It can be literally anything. And if it doesn't, we're not doing it. It's really easy when you're growing and scaling to get distracted by the noise and take every opportunity. And especially as an entrepreneur, you know, you're like, yes, we'll do everything all at the same time. But no, we've got to stay on the mission. We've got to stay focused. And it's about that compound effect. It's the same with the content. You know, I posted so consistently, then it paid off. If you stay in, you know, your lane and stay on the mission, it will pay off eventually. And there are our core values: empowering women, being super transparent with our products, our ingredients, and our customers, and being determined to, you know, be a small team and lead within the beauty industry for sure.
I think that's such a good way of articulating what like a lot of people set those values, and a lot of people set those, like the mission, the vision for the business, but don't like turn it into a framework for decision making, and therefore it doesn't have any impact. It's like you've just written it down, and it means nothing to nobody. I think that's just really well articulated, really interesting. It can be
anything, you know, going on lives, what you're going to say, just does it align with them three? And if it doesn't, then we're not doing it. Like, we just won't do it. Even if it's a good idea, let's just park it. It doesn't align, leave it for something else.
Yeah, it also empowers the individual to like make their own decisions, as long as there's that framework in place.
Yeah, and then also you can come back and be like, I made this decision, it aligns with this, and it's like, okay, fair enough, yeah, it does. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, I love how you've spoken a lot about focus. I think it's something we speak a lot about, and don't you see like brands that just saying yes to everything. They're trying to master every channel at once, and as a result they're doing everything pretty poorly. So yeah, it's interesting that you've really emphasized that point.
Yeah, for sure. It is easy to get distracted, but I think, you know, we've really dialed in on what works, key products. We've not delivered loads of SKUs. You know, we've had our bestsellers sell continuously over the last couple of years, because that's what we want to do, solution-based products, not have loads of products, because there's so many amazing brands that are doing that, and that's not what we're doing. So it's just about, you know, staying in our lane, not over scaling and being like, let's just do everything now because it's going well. It just doesn't work like that, and I know it'll pay off in the end.
So we touched on, like, obviously that multi-channel D2C, TikTok. I feel like that's an avenue that more brands are going down. I think Sephora is obviously like top end of the market, right?
That's the
best. Which is really interesting. It'd be great to hear about how that came about, and like the journey with how it's been working with them, I guess.
Yeah, so it goes back to that. I didn't want to just say yes to any retailer, but when you're growing and a retailer reaches out to you, you're like,
it's hard to say no, right?
But you know, like, just be patient, especially when you're not anywhere. It's a great time for stores to reach out to you, want exclusivity, right? So utilize that to your advantage in the beginning if you can. And I reached out to probably every single person in Sephora that works there via personal DM, email, anything that I could get hold of. And I reached out to one of their head buyers on LinkedIn, and I said, just spoke to her, and she messaged me back, and I was like, she's supposed to be back. And she was like, so funny you messaged, like, love the products, got it in my handbag now, massive fan. I was like, what are you talking about?
Insane.
Couldn't believe it. And I was like, this is it, we've made it, gonna be in Sephora. And we had the conversation, we spoke about the brand. She knew everything about the brand anyway because she was a customer. And she was like, yep, we'd love to have you in store. And it was a really organic approach in a way, because she already knew everything. And we launched at the end of last year, November, just before Christmas, just after Black Friday, damn it. And it's been great, growing every single week. Love the store. We did an in-person event in January. I go to the stores regularly, love the team, like, fangirl that the products are in store and just stand at them and organise them. And that's been amazing. Yeah.
I
Really
love
enjoyed
that. Are there any what are some of the biggest learnings on going through that journey? Like, is there
barcode your products for one.
And don't run out of stock.
Sounds like that really scarred you.
Yeah, no, it did. And also like margins and things. You know, I wasn't aware of all of these sort of things, and you have to, you know, make sure that you're reading contracts. You've got big contracts with stores, exclusivity. What does that mean? Can you offer different options? You know, you can do things where you can say like, we'll give you exclusive this product, or you keep some products exclusive to your website, or do you do exclusivity for a year? And, you know, you build that relationship on sort of what the goal is. And it is different with each brand and each retailer. But there's loads of room for that sort of negotiation. But again, it's just margins. Do your research. Don't just jump and be like, we're launching a Sephora, say yes to everything, or we're launching in Boots or whatever it is. Just think carefully as well, like about the brand and, you know, what's the bigger picture? Like for us, it's trust. Like that's what Sephora is for us.
That's where I feel like a lot of brands run and like just jump into that, almost get like head rush because it's like, oh, this retailer's reached out, and don't like
and it is
step
easy
back
to
and
do
think.
that.
Yeah, it is. It's really. I can imagine I've not gone through it, but I can imagine it's really hard to have like Boots knock on your door and be like, I'm not going to go into like all of these stores, but like
and
as
they
you
have
said,
like crazy terms, some of them. So you have to be
payment
really
especially,
vigilant,
right?
Yeah, and what you're signing, and be careful. Even if it's a good opportunity, it can actually sink your brand.
Yeah, and that thinking it omni-channel in terms of like how they would like they'll go and bid on your search terms, and that can just kill you. Like, we had a brand actually in November where a retailer went early on their discount, and they were taking like 2,000 orders a day away from their branded search term just by out competing them on price. She's like, horror stories like that is really got to avoid.
Yeah, we've luckily not lost any traffic on the site. It's actually brought in loads of new customers because they're seeing it in the store. And people that go to Sephora love beauty. Like they are queuing for hours to get in there. You know, they're opening stores left, right, and centre. I think they're on track for 10 stores in the UK this year. You know, people are like in love with beauty and skincare, so they pick up products they're always looking to try. It's not like you've really got to warm them up. They're already, you know, hardcore beauty fans, and the team at Sephora are amazing. It's so versatile. They're such a vibrant group of people to work with, and going in store and just talking to them is the best thing ever.
Yeah, lines very much to what you were saying about just like the premium nature of the product and linking to the right retailer as part of that. One thing we haven't touched on yet is a TikTok shop. It'd be good to like go a bit deeper into your journey there and you know, maybe the strategy behind that.
So just started selling on TikTok shop through lives, packing lives. They were the best. They performed the best, and just sort of showing the product through TikTok shop. And our strategy is just posting content that shows the results of the product, and, you know, making sure we're listening to the customer. So on lives, we get customers that say we want these sort of bundles, and you can do like live exclusives and making it exciting. And, you know, TikTok sometimes like so crazy. You've got to be, you know, full of energy on, you know, top form, and also just like exciting. How can you make it different? It's so, you know, creative. And our strategy with growing that is just, you know, delivering more of an experience for customers. So at the minute we've got like By Ellie's live lounge. We started that 2 weeks ago, and we're live now actually.
I was watching it before you came here.
Yeah, so 3 lives a week, and it's not like each day's a theme, and it's, you know, trying to bring an experience. So people, you know, some people sit on the lives for like 6 hours just wanting to talk and be a part of it. Like,
nuts.
You know, we've done a live before for 12 hours, me and Jess, and we, you know, people were on it the whole time. And we were delirious. By the end of it, we were in elf costumes. So I think it's just being really creative and sort of, you know, you can hard sell a bit more on TikTok shop, but it's also just how can you be creative with the product and how you work with TikTok shop. They're a great platform. They're so supportive. And I think you're crazy not to at least try it and utilize, you know, so much, you know, awareness and so much knowledge that people give away for free. You can research literally anything on TikTok. If I go out for dinner, I'm literally looking up on TikTok.
Yeah, it's the new search engine, isn't it?
Yeah. because I want to see a video of the restaurant before I go.
It's where we start for a lot of like creative research. It's like not just on like products or place. It's like searching just the problem that the brand's trying to solve, and like just seeing all of the top organic content related to that problem. And like I was doing one for rosacea the other day for a brand, and it was just like super inspiring of like, how can we go and make an ad that, like, a lot of best ads come from organic at them for sure. It's like
and you get so much feedback in them comments. You're like, oh, okay, like this is what
learn
people
how
are looking
people
for.
who are actually experiencing the problem speak about it, because it's gonna, and just really understand it. I think it's such a shortcut for sure.
It's like seeing just what is resonating with the consumer. Like, it's social proof instantly. If you know a video talking about a problem has X amount of views, there's a reason why that is. How can we study that creative? We've started actually like downloading those TikTok videos, and you can upload them to Google AI Studios, and it will like give you a whole hypothesis as to like why it works. Then you can like apply it to paid. So yeah, there's some cool strategies for how you use it. But like you said, it's like when I was on holiday last week, you know, used to, if you were looking for a restaurant, you'd go on Google, but like you don't want to see just like one image of a restaurant. You get like a quick 10-second reel
Review
that shows the food, the ambiance, everything.
Yeah, like a review.
You want the
and then
gyros.
you read the comments and you're like, yeah, I'm going to go there.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
You want to really see the gyros, right?
The gyros.
In Greece. So we've touched on TikTok Shop, D2C and retail. I guess like looking forward next 6 to 12 months, where do you think the most growth is going to come in the next 6 months, or what you're putting your most focus on if that's how you're approaching it?
So we're actually launching on TikTok Shop, Ireland and Europe, across Europe.
Nice.
So that's intense. Expanding there for our European customers, you know, that will be so good for them, and growing the team, because, you know, if we're doing lives in Spain, we will need a Spanish presenter, because I can't speak Spanish. And like that whole strategy, you know, launching into a whole new market, they don't know who we are. And
the fact you have to run like three different shops, right? And three different pages.
Every single page needs to be a new one. Yeah.
That needs fixing. TikTok needs to fix
You're
that problem,
me.
right? Like, it's so bonkers. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, so it's like starting from scratch, and we have plans to be back in the US by the end of the month. So that will be good, because the US is quite a big place for us, and expanding there for sure.
Can you touch on that then?
Yes,
US. I know we spoke briefly about that before the podcast. I saw you did a TikTok, a comment reply, someone asking around that, and that they were gutted that, you know, you were no longer.
We had a lady do a video yesterday, and she was like, is there any other products? Because this brand have just stopped selling to the US. And I was like, no. I was like, I'll personally send you one. Wait. So yeah, the tariffs came in overnight. Thanks for that.
He who shall not be named.
Yeah, I'm not giving you any airtime. And yeah, obviously the US is 10% of our business organically. We don't market there. Just I think through content, and, you know, like I said about that video, went viral over there as well. And it really affected shipping. You know, it was costing us pretty much triple the amount of the product to send it, to get it through customs. And we had all these FedEx, you know, fines come in, and it was just chaos, and we had to turn it off. Like, it was just, we couldn't keep it on. And what we did was just create a sign up page on our site. We're going to try and fix this. Obviously, I had no idea what we were going to do. And that for the last 4 weeks has been high priority, and I've been pulling my hair out, and it's been really stressful, because no one really knows what to do, and they're changing every single day. And there is sort of no way around it. But hopefully with what shall be revealed in a few weeks, we will be back in the US, bigger and better than ever. And, you know, we're going to kickstart by rewarding all of our loyal customers. We've had so many people, thousands of people sign up on the wait list. And hopefully we can offer them a better service as well with what we have in store.
That's great. And it just shows the power of like loyalty and that community that you've built, that they are still there and they're hanging around.
Because, you know, they're just going to buy something else, and then you've lost a customer, right? So the only thing I could think of was that quick, set up a landing page, communicate this across socials, you know, let people know. goes back to being transparent. People keep asking, okay, I don't have a solution, but I'm working on it. Like by the end of the month, I will have an announcement for you. And just letting people know, like, that, not sort of brushing it under the carpet, like, we will get it fixed. We're working on it, and it hasn't been easy at all because everything I've tried has gone wrong. So I'm just trying, and we have got something planned for the end of the month. So.
Yeah. I think that vulnerability is just so important. Like, when that's one thing I've learned about just organic founder content is when things go good, obviously talk about them. But one thing that people don't do enough is like really talk about when things go bad, and just opening up about that.
Yeah. And it's also, all right, it might not look good, but at least your customer may understand why something's gone wrong, and then they're not going to be as, angry or complain or, think you're ignoring them if there's a tech issue. Or, when we moved into 3PL, there was a massive tech issue, and we had to be transparent about that. And, loads of orders got cancelled, and it was a disaster. But we had to let customers know, not just by email, like speaking to them, messaging them personally, doing videos, educating them. Not everyone's going to be on the same platform. So it's just trying to spread that awareness and be as transparent as possible and vulnerable.
Yeah. I think as humans, we relate more to vulnerability rather than the perfect, the perfect person or the perfect brand. So yeah, I mean, just back to the tariffs thing as well. It's just like, makes you think, doesn't it? Like that bad enough being 10% of your customers. Imagine, some of these US brands, if that's the majority of their customer base.
No, yeah, it's like unbelievable.
They're also still pretty high, right? They're not. It's like we've gone from like really, really, really high tariffs to just like really high tariffs.
And they fluctuate as well.
And
so
like the uncertainty, right? Because you can't plan, and then like so many variables can change in like a day.
And everyone's got a different opinion. So again, it's back to just focus on what you're doing, and you can't foresee it, because how did anyone foresee that happening overnight? No one did.
Control what you can control, I guess, in a way.
Yeah. And then there's he threatened Apple, didn't he? We're at 25% tariffs if they don't move production to the US. It's like, well, if you do that, an iPhone will be an iPhone will be cost about $9,000.
Yeah, literally.
Crazy.
It's like not really how it works.
Yeah, it's made things really difficult, but I definitely have been leaning into a lot of smaller brands that are in the US, like you said, and so many companies they've had to close or had to just pause altogether, and that is just heartbreaking to see. So obviously it's been really stressful, but really lucky that we're in the UK and we have a massive customer base here as well.
Yeah, for sure. And how do you think TikTok as a platform is going to change over the next 12 months? Like, do you see yourself adapting your strategy at all, or can you see that continuing to scale?
TikTok changes every single day. You have to adapt. We focus massively on TikTok as well. Like, it is a big part of our strategy, and they're evolving all the time, like all of the time, and it's just growing into them different markets, taking the opportunities. Not everyone could launch in Ireland. It was an opportunity that's given, and it's testing and trialing, and not everything's going to go well, but I do trust in the testing and
the
trialing with
doing.
them, and they're just as they take so much risk as well. So it's sort of like, let's take the risks and try.
Yeah, makes sense.
It's free, obviously they take commission, but you get free education from their teams, and they are so supportive. You're crazy not to utilize it and just learn as much as you can, and you get to work with really creative people, and the affiliates and the creators we work with, we wouldn't be able to do that otherwise.
Yeah, the affiliate side is mental, isn't it? Just the incentive there, just some of the content that you see driven through that is pretty wild.
Yeah, that's a whole minefield, opening the affiliate section of TikTok. It's like
it's your own little sales team, right? It's like your own little video-based sales team, which I think is just such
But it's so much more incentivizing for people to earn commission of products they love.
Yeah.
And be a part of a team. You can have that one-to-one conversation with them, and they're a part of your brand essentially, and they get products before anyone else. They get new launches. They have that, exclusivity, and you can reward different affiliates, whether you do, if you hit certain GMVs or different, targets. And it's really important because their content is going to be so much more authentic, and they're not going to promote a product they can't sell because they just wouldn't, because they're not going to get anything back. And there's so many different things you can set as well to make it like really targeted, really niche, and really sort of play around with like great creators you've worked with for years and years. Like some of the creators I've worked with the whole time. Like I know everything about them.
Do you cast a wider net with affiliates, or are you more selective?
Both. So we have like selective for different sort of things like new launches and stuff, but then awareness, because you'll get some random person on TikTok, nothing to do with beauty. Their page is full of cats, and they'll do a video and it will go crazy, and they won't even be in it. There'll be a cat in the background there undoing a product, and it will go viral, and they'll sell so much product to make loads of commission from that. So it's, I think, just spreading awareness and just getting to work with loads of different people.
Yeah, makes sense. So do you see that as more of a brand play?
Yeah, because once people use the product as well, then they buy the other products to put in their shop because they love the product. It's not none of the products are buy once. We have such a good, return customer because the product is really good. And I think that's why, that they use every single day. They're not something you use once. It's something you use every single day.
I think that's how I've seen a lot of our brands are like D2C first, and then are kind of doing TikTok shop. And then you've obviously got the brands that sort of start on TikTok shop and then maybe try and come over to D2C.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's probably the biggest difference that I'm seeing in how how those two cohorts are approaching the platform. Like the ones that are D2C native just try and make TikTok shop as big as possible, and like they'll run it at like break even, and they'll just go for a massive awareness play. Whereas the ones at TikTok who are TikTok shop native obviously have to make margin, because it's like the lifeblood of the business. But it is such a great it's a platform of discovery, right? It's just such an awareness drive.
Drives
it's
so much
crazy.
traffic.
And it is that domino effect. If a couple of people have bought the product and they're sort of raving about it, everyone will buy it and post it themselves.
Flywheel.
Yeah, we had a creator the other day and she used it, and I'm like, I've been trying to get hold of her for so long. And she's bought it and just used it in her video, which is amazing. But that's just like slowly seeding the product and, awareness of years and years of posting. And she must have seen it somewhere and bought it, but she never replied to my messages. So.
Love it.
Even better.
I know she's going to open it and be like, I could have got that for free.
That's funny. So how would you say you've grown most as a founder over the last 12 months?
I've managed having little crying sessions to once a week. No, I've grown from my team, and I think I've grown to manage pressure and just, really adapt to, this is what we're doing, this is what I love doing, and staying just that tunnel vision. I think we've really dialed down in the last couple of months, and for the next 6 months, dialing in and not getting distracted is definitely my main focus. And just really perfecting the product, perfecting the experience and what we're doing and why we're doing it. And new product has to be perfect.
Yeah, love that. I think, it's like that Brian Chesky, Airbnb founder, he talks about that, like the CEO, the founder just needs to be the chief product officer and just obsessed with product. And that's definitely come through with you.
Yeah, the whole experience of product that's the first touch point of like that whole journey. How they unbox it, how are they feeling, if they're buying it as a gift, is, that whole experience is one. And then the product, trying it, how does it make them feel? How, does it give results? Are they going to use it every day? That is what I'm obsessed with. And, creating new products and creating new ways to apply products, and something that's going to fit into your routine, no matter what type of woman you are, what your routine is, mum, working, getting ready in the car, getting ready on the train, getting ready on a plane. These products are going to work and be efficient, and that is like my main focus.
Love that.
Love it.
Cool. Well, yeah, I think
you can't try any of them. But
I know, it's such a shame. I'm just thinking now, like,
maybe I have to send you a box as a
exactly. When's the unisex coming out? Cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been incredibly insightful, and I think what you're doing is incredible, and it's definitely a massive idol for women to look up to in terms of what you've been able to achieve. So I appreciate you coming on. Where can people find you in the brand if they wanted to?
Everything is By Ellie Beauty for all By Ellie socials, and mine is Ellie Carlile.
Amazing. Cool.
And my socials are tagged on
down below.
Down below.
Yeah, on the By Ellie account. So, and anyone can message me anytime about anything. I'm available all the time to help as and when I can as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cool. We'll see you on the next episode.
Yeah, perfect.